Okay, the next item on our agenda is a report from the Wellness Department.
You're looking incredibly fit, Mr. Fry.
That's right. Good evening.
Hold on, why don't you wait till clear out. This way you're not going to hear the clutter behind you. Plus, I think it's ironic that I introduced you for wellness, so.
Actually, we're from not the Wellness Department, Wellness Committee, which is an outgrowth of Board Policy 6:50, which looks, while it's called a wellness policy, it really looks at nutrition of the students as well as physical activity of the students. A lot of work was done back during the 11-12 school year. So during the 12-13 school year, what was nice was a lot of other groups kind of took over for what was done. SA came in. They routinely meet with Quest for food tastings to try out new foods, make sure things are up to par there. The menu's good. Quest has done a great job working with them. I know that they've changed a lot of the menu food items. So we'd like to say that there's lots of healthy options for the students there. On the physical education side, for those kids that are not waived out, I'm happy to say as department chairman of wellness that our kids are meeting and exceeding state standards when it comes to physical activity. On the health side, with our nutrition program, since I teach health, I'm biased here. I'd like to say that our nutrition program is top-notch, and we do an excellent job in getting our kids prepared and let them know what's out there in terms of nutrition and making good food choices.
Bill, you had one other recommendation in the bottom of your memo that went to the board.
When we look at trying to keep the kids as physically fit as possible, we try to do it as much as we can during the school day, but we like to have some other options for our kids. And a couple years ago, funding was reduced for the person who would be there after school to supervise the weight room and the wellness center. And if possible, I'd like to see that option open again to our students. We're in the middle of doing as part of my professional growth plan, surveyed the entire student body. And I'm not finished with the report yet, but preliminary findings are showing that there is a lot of interest in working out after school. So if possible, I'd like to see that funding reinstated so we could get that wellness center and weight room open up after school again.
Bill, when that was open before the board had to make reductions, it was open in the morning and in the afternoon.
Correct.
And from what I understand, some of the participation varied significantly.
Morning wasn't real big. Mornings were more for makeup for PE. They had a policy back then that if you were not dressed more than 2 times in class, you had to come in the morning or after school to make up those dresses. So that went away, I want to say the 2009-2010 school year, and then it was just after school. And then cuts ensued, and we lost that position after school as well.
Okay, so that's something for the board to consider. You're set, I think you're set to meet again in January?
Yes, we're going to meet 2 times, one in January, then probably once again in April.
Okay.
And who's on your committee?
Right now, on the student side, Amy Fry, Amy Zick, and Caroline Waz. I'm going to be recruiting some new kids because they're all seniors, so we're going to be getting some fresh kids in this school year. On the parent side, it's Kathy McCrory, who is a nurse practitioner. On the community side is Karen Ziagua, who runs the LaGrange YMCA. And of course, Principal Biosma is on there as well.
And Quest, right?
Yes, and Dawn Ives from Quest.
Any questions for Bill?
I have a question. Does Quest Point display calorie counts?
They do. They didn't at first, and then when we did some work during the 2011-2012 school year, we asked that that stuff be put up, and they've been real responsive with that. So a lot of those counts are now in the food service lines as well as in the main cafeteria.
I believe there's a large bulletin board right by the general line where you can get the regular lunch menu items.
Mhm.
I see some of the teachers nodding, so I think that's the right location.
I have a question for Kevin, not really for this. Okay, Bill, so your response to Bill was the board can consider it. Does that mean we would expect they'll do a cost benefit and a presentation on, what the benefits and costs would be of opening that again?
I'll have Bill draft me up a proposal,
Okay.
and then Tim and I would first look at it to see what the costs were. I know there were some old stipends identified, so eventually when the new contract's determined, and we could look at that or see if there's a process for putting something like this back in place. So,
Any other questions for Bill?
I have another question. Let's see, the statement, the students felt the health curriculum and physical ed classes were meeting the need of the student body. Are we going to have a presentation maybe on the physical education department and maybe some objective measures that are used to maybe support that? I'd be interested in
Sure.
that.
Just that the boards, you guys want it. If you want me back up here for a presentation as well as department chair, sure, we can do that. And again, what's nice is this, the survey that I've done should focus on that, as well as I can give you all our measures on what we pre and post test.
when do you anticipate your survey being complete?
I should have it done by January.
So maybe in second semester sometime when we do this proposal for the wellness center, that could be something that maybe the PE department come back and can also speak to some of the results of that survey and some of the,
I'll be ready.
is that something the board is interested in?
Sure. Yes. Yeah,
I have a question,
yeah.
and I'm not sure who to direct it to. During the referendum, the concept of the wellness center was supposed to be open to community members. And, some of the concepts were like Lockport's nanatorium and their weight room and their whole athletic center. They generate revenue. Community members pay a small nominal fee. They're members. They can come. They can use some of those facilities, and some of the money that's generated through the membership keeps the center sustainable. Is that something that we can pursue?
We had that, some of that, you are correct, that was what was implemented. That was one of the things that was in the first round of cuts even before I got here. The historical I got, and Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, was that the stipends just to pay the people to open those, but we weren't coming close to covering the amount of participation or anything that we were collecting. Now, we still do leave our pool open 2 nights a week for wet class. or for
Monday and Thursday night is open swim.
Open swim for the community.
Wednesday is the what class?
What
And
kind of participation do we get normally at an open swim?
It's picking up right now. Getting a lot more kids coming in. Before, I'd say we'd have 4 to 6 a night. Now I'd say we're up to 20. But that jump is not adults, it's students. They're coming in and playing around in the water.
But did we ever reach community participation? The community was always waiting to have access to that wellness center.
It was before my time as in a leadership role here, but from what I recall, the problem was capitalism at its best. We were charging $15 a month. LA Fitness just opened up, and they were charging $10 a month. So, and Loyola was fairly inexpensive as a family membership, so people were going to those places as opposed to coming here.
There was a time where we were opening it to the community. I know we still do some
Yeah.
night classes
Yes.
for spin.
That's through Riverside Rec, I believe.
Yeah, we've opened it up with the Riverside Rec Department to run some of their programs.
But that's, if you have to sign up with Riverside Rec, it's not having a membership to our center.
Correct.
Right, okay.
All right, any other questions for Bill? Thanks, Bill, appreciate it. Thank you very much for the
See you in
presentation.
January.
Thanks.
We'll look for you.
Well, I'll let you know. It might not be January. We'll get you here second semester.